Well, you heard it here first. Kate Burton, offer only. From here on out.
That's not true.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for having us.
Love it. Julia, I wanted to start by asking you. I've been trying to think of a delicate way to ask about this film's meditation on death and all of that dark stuff. And I think what I've settled on, and maybe this is stupid, but we'll see.
No, I can already tell it's not stupid. It's fantastic.
Hold on. What came first here? The concept of the film or the title, The Surrender, and how do those two interact?
I mean, we actually started this project with a totally different title, The Wailing Women, which I was like, you know what, maybe people will not want to go see a movie that implies that it's just two women crying the whole movie.
And our voices would still be lost at this point.
Right,
You and mine.
Because that's so not what the movie is. It's not that. There's so much like dark humor in there, and it's fun and scary and gory and great. So yeah, it wasn't until actually far later in the project that we were like, we need to revisit this title, guys. And then we came up with Surrender because it just seemed wildly appropriate considering where the film goes.
What would you say some of your horror influences are here in this film? I detect some Astor. I detect some King.
Oh my God, yes, love them so much. I mean, it's so interesting. I feel like with inspiration for a film, it really depends on what part you're talking about, because like the influences for how we shot it are very different than the influences for how to tell the story, you know? Because this is very much a slow burn piece, so things like Rosemary's Baby or Saint Maud, like tonally were very Relic, you know, those were really great touchstones to kind of ground this so people knew kind of what we were going for. But in terms of shooting, like Jean Dillman was a huge influence for the first act because we really wanted to capture that kind of monotony and trapped feeling of caregiving. And then Blue Valentine was a huge inspiration for like the camera movement in the second act. And then when you get into the third act, we go full on like Black Swan and the camera's just going everywhere because we really wanted to mirror the emotional journey of these two women.
Wow. I just learned so much.
Me too. That was exactly my reaction. I was like,
Kate, I'm going to humbly request that you just say wow after every answer.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
Wow. Okay.
Colby and Kate, I'm wondering what drew each of you to these respective roles, and then what is it like working on a film? Again, it's about death. It's like not death conceptually, just straight up, just hanging out with the corpse in most scenes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Talk.
wow.
Please talk.
When I read this, I knew I was in trouble because I knew I really connected to it. I have a very close relationship with my parents. My parents are wonderful, like some of the greatest people you'll meet in your life. And they like love essential oils and they love, certain alternative medicine things. And I was reading it and I was like, oh my God, this is like my worst nightmare of what would happen when my parents inevitably die. And so I was really emotionally connected to it. And when I did the audition, I couldn't help but get emotional. Sometimes you're like, trying to squeeze out the tears, and that was not happening on this. I was just like very connected to it.
Incredible. That was the best audition I've ever seen. That was phenomenal, by the way. Just had to say. Sorry.
Thank you. And also the script was so funny, like just the way in which this was written. Really, I just connected to it. And then when I met with Julia, not the microphone, but Julia here, she said that she wanted this to be, a two-hander where we would play with each other. She was going to lock off the camera and let us just kind of run with these scenes. And that is my favorite. I'm so desperate to do something like that. This movie is a family drama first, and then it spirals out of control. And that I was just really attracted to both her process and her script and the universality of the specificity of losing your parents, And then we have when I found out Kate Burton was going to be
Oh my God.
Barbara, I just about shat my pants.
Yeah,
I mean,
she didn't
are you
audition.
kidding?
As soon as we found out she was remotely interested, we were like, yes, oh my God,
my
please, yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, the thing was that the first thing I did, well, I found out about Julia, and then my first question was, who's playing the daughter? And when I found out it was Colby, my wonderful manager, Larry said, "Oh, you'll love her," and he had just, he just knew her work, and I kind of knew you. I'd seen you in a few things, I realized, but this is the thing. It's a collaboration, and number one, from day one, it was a collaboration with Julia because we all sat with the script for about 4 or 5 days. We sat in our beautiful set in this beautiful house in Descanso Gardens, this idyllic, incredible place. And I just thought, this is very unusual. I'll also freely admit to you, I can't watch horror movies very easily. They scared the crap out of me.
Same.
So I, when I realized what happened, what again, it's so fascinating to hear what your influences were in terms of filmmakers, it was the beginning of the movie being like a domestic drama, something that all of us have experienced at some point in our lives. And it starts off as you think it's one thing, and then it turns on its axis and it turns into something else. And frankly, we've done tons of theater, all of us. And for me, that's been my greatest experience as a theater actor, is when I'm standing on a stage and I can actually feel like the audience goes, oh, wait a minute. And that really was what appealed to me about the project. And from minute one, when we were all working together, also I'm not just saying this because you're all here, the whole production team, the producers, our set dressers, the crew, you always hear people talking about that, at award shows, for instance. And the reason they do is because, forget it. Without them, we'd be nothing. So the reality is, including catering. It was all too
Honestly,
much.
yeah.
But we were treated
Everyone
like
was
royalty.
wonderful.
And from minute one, and it was just a real labor of love.
Well, you heard it here first. Kate Burton, offer only.
From here on out.
That's not
true. No, I'm going to be putting myself on tape later today, by the way, for a movie to play some fabulous, incredible actors, Oscar-nominated actors, grandmother.
Right.
So yeah, that is going to be, yeah. So no, I audition all the time.
I have one final, very quick question that you will have to answer quickly, or I will be murdered by every publicist in this room, I think. Colby, do you only take roles now where women tear their hair out? And did you have any solid advice for Kate on how to do so properly?
Actually, I did, because The Boys has really figured out how to do it in a very effective way that doesn't pull as much of your own hair out as possible. But yeah, no, that's all I look for in a script. Send them my way. If there's hair pulling, this is all a wig. I've shaved my head, so it's all good. We're good to go.
Oh, so glad I got a hair question in. Every journalist's dream, obviously. Thanks so much for stopping by, everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Lovely film about death. I love it. Wow.